What's up, Pouty people, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Pout Palace Podcast. I'm your host, Elle, and if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you, A, but B, I'm sorry, because I look like I'm melting. My house is so hot, and it's actually nighttime right now. I'm recording later than I normally do, because we went to see Fantastic Four tonight, and I wasn't very impressed. Gotta say, I don't know. I think that every single movie is just automatically supposed to be good if it has Pedro Pascal in it. And twice now, I've been disappointed in him. What was it? The Materialists was the last movie he was in. That was probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And then this movie, I just couldn't get behind his character. I don't know how to explain it, but I was let down a little bit. I gotta say too, though, I am a fan of just OG movies. There's so many remakes out there all the time, and I know that this wasn't technically a remake because the entire storyline was different. They were sticking to the comics, and I don't know, it was just a different time period and timeline and everything, so it wasn't technically a remake. But I don't love remakes. Freaky Friday 2, Freakier Friday is coming out, and I'm gonna go see that, but I'm not excited for that. And then they're remaking The Naked Gun, which if you have never seen The Naked Gun, you need to watch it because it's actually insane. Insanely funny and just insane in general. I don't know how to describe it. But when I watched that for the first time, I think I actually peed my pants with laughter because I hadn't seen something that ridiculous and that hilarious in a long time. It's dumb humor, but it really got me. And let me think, what else? I don't know, just so many remakes lately that I'm just do we have to? I guess Freaky Friday 2 is technically a sequel. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it. But it's a sequel that I feel we don't need, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I am excited for Princess Diaries 3, but at the same time, I'm not, because I'm oh, well, if it goes really bad, that I'm not going to, it's going to leave a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to my fun memories of the Princess Diaries. And 1 and 2 were both fantastic. I could have done without the whole Raven-Symoné arc in the second one, but overall, fantastic movie. But anyway, yes, I don't know where I was going with this, but yeah, I'm filming later at night, so I look like I'm melting because I have to turn my AC off every time I record because it messes up the sound. So I am probably also wearing the same shirt that I've worn in the past 3 videos. Recording yourself doing a podcast is not for the weak, honestly. I feel very self-conscious every time I get on this microphone, and then to add the element of watching me talk is just weird. I don't know, it's a little extra. I don't even want to say nerve-wracking, because I don't really get nerve-wracking when it comes to public speaking or anything like that. I think it's just being on camera. It's just, I don't know, making sure that everything technically goes right, making sure the battery and everything is charged. It's just a lot of moving pieces. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up. Let's just get into some stuff, because it's been 2 weeks. I feel it's weird. I know I said this last time too, but going 2 weeks in between podcasts, I don't know, I wasn't very active on my podcast Instagram this week, or really last week either, because I've been so sick, guys. I've been so sick. I know I've been saying it, but these pregnancy symptoms are not fun. I'm really getting hit hard this time around. I'm just constantly feeling ill, and I feel weak. I can't sleep. I'm just very tired, and I'm tired of being pregnant, and I'm only 14 weeks pregnant. So there's that. We did sort of find out the gender. The ultrasound tech said that it was looking a certain way, but we haven't officially gotten the blood test results back yet to confirm it. So I'm waiting a little bit. But I do have my little baby sprinkle coming up this weekend, which I think is also adding to my stress a little bit too, because it's a party that I'm throwing for myself, which I only have 6 or 7 of my closest girlfriends coming to, but I have to do a lot of cleaning and prepping, and ordinarily I would love that. I go feral for a party. I am such a host. I love hosting. But now that I'm feeling so bad, I'm like, oh God, like I need to get the motivation to do this. And I'm just hoping that like I can set aside the time to actually get it done so that everybody has an enjoyable time. I'm thinking about asking my friend to help me because I need it. But anyway, this week or last week, these 2 weeks have been crazy. Not just for me, but for like the world. So Pete Davidson is expecting a child. It's his first child and only child. And I am like so unbelievably happy for him in ways that I didn't realize that I would be. I've always kind of rooted for Pete Davidson because I don't know, I've always felt kind of bad for him in a way. Like, I think he's always been the butt of the joke. And I feel like he can take it, but at the same time, like he's dealt with so much stuff, like so much drug addiction, so much depression, drinking, like all the bad stuff, right? But I feel like in his love life specifically, like he's always just been the butt of the joke. Like everybody dogs on him because Ariana Grande and him broke up really quickly after he tried to, I think they got engaged. And then she made a song literally talking about him, you know, I think it was 7 Rings or something. And then, or no, was it 7 Rings? It was Thank You Next, right? And everybody just kind of like got on him. Like, I don't know. I just feel bad for Pete Davidson. I just do. So the fact that he's having a baby, I know that he's always wanted to be a dad, at least in interviews. But I don't know. I think he's going to be a good dad. And I think that like now that he's gotten all the tattoos taken off of him too, like he just looks healthier and happier. And like he said in an interview, I think it was with Jimmy Fallon maybe, that like, you know, it's something he's always wanted and he feels so happy to be like so selfless. And like every single thing that he does now is for himself and like his girlfriend. By the way, speaking of his girlfriend, her name is Elsie Hewitt. She's 29 years old. She's a model and an actress. She's modeled for Guess and Playboy. They met at the beginning of the year through mutual friends. And then they just recently made their first debut together on the red carpet, or I don't know, at his recent movie premiere. And they look really cute together. I feel like she kind of looks like Hailey Bieber. I don't know about that. Yeah, as long as like she didn't stalk him like Hailey Bieber did to Justin, then we're all good. But anyway, so also some news that we have to talk about. I don't know if you guys are aware of the lore revolving Trisha Paytas, but she just had her 3rd child. She has 2 other children. They're both girls, and this is her first and only boy. So the first one's name is Malibu Barbie. The second one's name is Elvis, and they're both girls. But they just had another child, and they named it Aquaman. And I'm not joking. They named it Aquaman. So essentially, there's a lot of lore around her births. And anytime Trisha Paytas gives birth, a like world famous like person dies. So when Malibu Barbie was born, the Queen of England died. And then Elvis was born and the Pope died. So this time everybody was like, oh my God, Donald Trump has like this mysterious vein illness, you know, that he just came out with and everybody's talking about. So she's due any day. So everybody was kind of like, I don't believe in the divine, but I will believe in Trisha Paytas if this happens, but it didn't. Instead, we lost Ozzy Osbourne, which is absolutely heartbreaking for lots of rock fans around the world. I guess he's rock. I don't really know, to be honest with you. I didn't listen to a lot of Ozzy Osbourne, but I appreciate Ozzy Osbourne. And I don't know, it's very sad. And I know a lot of people are grieving. My husband literally had to stop when he was driving and call me and be like, Ozzy Osbourne just died. Like, he was the first person to tell me. I was like, what the heck? Like, it's just very, very sad. But also, another quick note about this whole thing, like Trisha Paytas having her child and everything, we can't just like gloss over the fact that she named her child Aquaman, okay? Like, there's an actual like reason supposedly that she named her son Aquaman. but I can't recall what it is because I think it was just too ridiculous for my brain to wrap around it. But I do know that like her husband, Moses, identifies as water, like as his pronouns. Like he's not a he or a she or a they, them. He identifies as water. At least that's what Trisha Paytas says. But if you like really want to go down a crazy rabbit hole, you should look into that whole thing. Trisha Paytas in her, like herself is such an, like, I don't even know how to describe her. She's an enigma. Like she is, I want to say iconic in a way. Like she's also one of those people that I've always rooted for, even though she's whack. Like she's actually like nuts, but she's gotten everything that she's always wanted, and I feel so happy for her. And I always feel happy for people who like bring children into the world when they can provide loving, stable homes for them, you know? And so I know she's always wanted kids, and she's just, I love to see the leaf that she has turned, if that makes any sense. But yeah, the other thing that I was going to talk about that honestly I don't really care to talk about is the Sydney Sweeney thing. I don't know if you are aware, but Sydney Sweeney was just in a American Eagle ad where she was like modeling the new jean line that they have or something like that, like blue jeans, right? So she's like laying down and she's putting her pants on, right? So she's whatever, seductively with her gravelly ass weird voice, and she's like, jeans are what make us, and they're biologically passed down through husband or parents, and it determines our hair color. And I know I sound ridiculous, but that's literally how she sounds to me. It's like the rasp is so forced. It's bad. And she just sounds bad, okay? But I think like the main reason I'm bringing this up is because people are claiming that this commercial is an ad for fascism. If you didn't catch what I said, an ad for fascism, because you have a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman saying, I have good genes. And people are saying, okay, well, obviously this is clearly her like campaigning for eugenics or something like that, right? Can I just say, I really, really, really think that sometimes we just need to like not dig so deep into things. Do I think it's a weird ad? Yeah. Do I think that they were simply trying to say that you should buy these jeans because Sydney Sweeney looks good in these jeans and like you will too, and it has nothing really to do with jeans, like Genes, and everything to do with Jeans? Yeah, I don't see, like, I honestly watched like so many videos about this to try to connect the dots and to get there, because I was so confused as to what the heck these people were talking about. And I see the dots. I do see how they got there. Like, I do see them. I see the line. I see the correlation. But guys, whoa, it's a lot. It's a lot. And like, I honestly kind of get scared to say stuff like this because I am a white woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. And I get nervous saying anything to do with people criticizing women with white hair or with blonde hair who are white with blue eyes. Because I feel like I am, maybe I'm missing something. And I'll happily admit that if I am. Maybe I'm missing something because of, you know, my privilege. Or, you know, people just kind of like lump us all together in a way. You know, I feel like I'm entitled when I say things like this. I feel like people view me as being entitled when I disagree with opinions about this stuff. So, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But I just feel like it's a very, very, very big leap to go from a commercial about Sydney Sweeney putting on jeans, talking about how she's, in my opinion, the commercial was just like, Sydney Sweeney has good jeans. Yeah, the jeans she's putting on, but also like her jeans, like she's objectively, conventionally attractive. Why are we not like allowed to say that somebody has good jeans? Because there are also bad jeans. There are bad jeans. I don't know how many times in my life I have heard somebody say, yeah, I've got bad jeans, you know. because there are bad genes. But now all of a sudden, that's not okay to say. I have bad genes. My teeth are so, like, I don't want to say, they're weak. My teeth are so weak. Like, I've chipped so many of my teeth. What else? I have anger issues because I'm Irish. I am prone to alcoholism because I'm Irish. You know, that's genetic stuff. That's bad genes. You can have bad genes. I don't think necessarily I'm not talking about like aesthetics, but I'm talking, there are bad genes. I feel like that's okay to say. Anyway, I didn't want to talk about it because like I said, like, I don't want to face scrutiny because I like am disagreeing with a lot of people. And I also don't want to face scrutiny because like, I don't care to go to bat for Sydney Sweeney that much. I don't care about her. I don't. And like, it's this whole soap thing all over again. Like, she's putting feminism back. Like, what are you talking about? I don't get it. Like, a woman is going to be over-sexualized no matter what she does. She might as well get paid for it. And obviously, she wanted to do it. She wanted to do the ad. I don't think it's setting anything back. But again, I could be wrong. Anyway, I think we should just move on. Anyway, guys, so let's move on to my Pouty Monday question that I had for you guys this week, which was, what is a backhanded compliment that actually hurt your feelings? Because this happens to the best of us, honestly. Like, some people can just like really, really get you down. And I've been like 100% going through my mind for weeks after somebody says a backhanded compliment. And I just like, I can't seem to get it out of my brain. And it just keeps on going through, you know, like a little hamster wheel over and over again. Like, did they mean it that way? Were they trying to be mean? Were they trying to hurt my feelings? Do they not realize that they hurt my feelings? Should I tell them about it? But basically, somebody said something to me at the gym the other day where they were like, oh my gosh, you look so much better than you did 6 months ago. And I was like, thank you, but also like, did I look that bad? Like, you know what I mean? Like, thank you for being nice and thank you for giving me the compliment, but was it actually a compliment? Like, and you know what's funny? Like, a lot of you guys said this, and so I got a lot of really relatable answers. So somebody said, oh wow, you're actually hot. That is so rude. That is so rude to say to somebody, but I want to believe that it's like if you're meeting somebody from Tinder or something, you know what I mean? Like, you're meeting somebody from Tinder for the first time and your profile pictures are up and whatnot, but like, you know how people lie on their profiles and they maybe use Facetune. I actually don't really know how that stuff works anymore because I literally used Tinder once in my life, maybe twice, and let's just say they did not lead to any love connections. Actually, they were both really bad dates. But anyway, I digress. I'm hoping that they met you in person and meant like, oh wow, like you're actually hot. Like, you look like your pictures and not like catfishing me. I don't know. But I'm sorry, that's rude. Okay, somebody else said, this is so you. Points to the ugliest clothing I've ever seen. Yeah, this has happened to me a lot. And I actually worry that I do this to my friends also, especially while thrifting. Because my friends and I have very different styles, like all of us. I think that my style is always changing, first of all, too. So like, what even is my style? I don't even know. But I feel like sometimes I really know my friends and then we go shopping together and then I pick something out and I'm like, oh my God, this looks so good on you. And they're like, you know, it's funny. My best friend, Elmira, she does this to me all the time, actually. We'll go thrifting or something together and she'll be like, oh, I could totally see you wearing this. And it's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Shout out to Elmira. I know you mean well, though. I know you don't mean it as a backhanded compliment. All right, somebody else says, you're actually really cool. I don't care what people say about you. Like, excuse me? Oh my God, that would send me into a tailspin. Actually, that would send me into a spiral. And I would have to go around and literally ask everybody that person has ever spoken to since their birth what they think of me and if they've said anything about me, because that would ruin me. It just would. And as much as I want to say I have tough skin, I like don't mind being confrontational, like that would ruin me. Speaking of confrontational, oh my God, guys, this is so like 30 minutes ago. But listen, I went to the Fantastic Four movie, as I said, right? I forgot to tell you that I was sitting there. We were like in the middle of the row, which my husband knows better than to put a pregnant woman in the middle of a row in a movie theater. But I guess he forgot because he bought the ticket. So we're sitting in the middle of the row and we're like, oh, wow, there's like nobody here. It is a Monday night, by the way. There's nobody here. This is going to be great. We're not going to have to deal with a bunch of people. Like, you know, everybody ruins movies for us because they have no decorum when it comes to being in movie theaters. So I'm like, perfect. I sit down, we're comfortable. I put my popcorn on the seat next to me. I'm sipping my drink. We're good. And then this guy comes over and he's like, oh, that's my seat. The one right directly next to me. There's no one else. Okay, dude, just move over one. Just move over one. Why do you have to be right next to me? I will say though, he did eventually like move once the movie started. He did sit next to me, but then he moved to the one over when the movie started. I guess he just didn't want to be yelled at if he had accidentally took someone's seat. But he was on his phone, of course. But guys, in walks these people with their adult son. And they end up sitting on my husband's side, right next to him. Like the dad was like touching elbows. Tell me why these people took their shoes off in an IMAX theater. What the hell? What the hell is wrong with you? They didn't have good hygiene, so they smelled. You're gonna walk in here, you're gonna sit down smelling funky, and then you're gonna take your shoes off? I beg your finest pardon. But my husband didn't say anything. I asked him 6 times if he wanted to move. He said no. So we stayed there. We enjoyed the movie as much as we could. And that was that. But I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you how disgusted I was. Plus, I also have a phobia of feet. I don't know if anybody knows this about me. If you're my best friends, you know this about me. I am terrified of feet. I hate them. I hate my own feet. Stay away from me with your damn foot claws and all that. Okay, moving on. Backhanded compliments. We're getting back to this. That actually hurt your feelings. Please. So people tell me my celebrity lookalike is Gabby Hanna. That's no offense to Gabby Hanna, but she's not my favorite. I don't actually know Gabby Hanna's lore. I know that she is like famous for being kind of nuts. And I do know, let's see, she's an American singer-songwriter and an internet personality, a YouTuber. She rose to prominence on the video platform Vine, and she made a single called Out Loud, and she made a song called Bad Karma. Yeah, no, she like crashed out too. I think she had like a full-on like bipolar meltdown or something like that, which if you're dealing with bipolar, I'm very, very sorry. That's not something to joke about. But she did it all on like TikTok and TikTok Live, I want to say. And some guy like took it upon himself to find her home and walk into her home while she's having like a full-on breakdown and like take advantage of her and in her mental health. And she didn't, I don't know, I think she like tried to commit suicide a few times, but yeah, she went like full-on crazy. So this, if you're watching the YouTube, is what Gabby Hanna looks like. I don't think it would be a bad thing to be compared to her when she looked normal, but she hasn't looked normal for a very, very long time, unfortunately. So I do feel bad for her. Anyway, next. Oh, you're not fat, you're fluffy. This would send me right over the edge. What the hell do you mean? I'm fluffy? You know what? This reminds me of when my mother, yeah, I'm putting my mom on blast right now. So all of my mom's friends who listen, you can tell her I said this. She would always say to me, if I would be like, oh, I'm fat. I look fat in this dress. Oh, does this make me look fat? Blah, 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 blah. My mom would say, You're not fat. You just have fat. A moment of silence for my self-esteem, please. You're not fat. You just have fat. Oh, great. Thank you so much. I'll just go stand in front of a bus now. Next, I wish I had your confidence. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. And I got this a lot, actually. I got this a lot. And I think it was mainly when I gained a lot of weight. I had gained a lot of weight, and I decided to like put a bathing suit on or something and maybe post pictures of myself at the beach or something. And I remember saying to like some people that I was talking to, like, yeah, you know what, I just put on a bathing suit and I went out to enjoy the pool or the beach or whatever. And they were like, oh, I wish I was as confident as you. Okay, so thanks. Yeah, that didn't feel so good. Somebody said, you look good. Keep up the good work. Like, did I look bad before? Then somebody said, you make cheap clothes look so cute. What? Oh my God, I would never say that. I would never say that to somebody. And you know what? I have learned growing up and getting older that you really can tell when something is cheap and when something's not cheap. I'm going to be so honest with you. Maybe 5 years ago, when I was working at the hotel still and I needed to get new clothes because I became a manager and I needed to look presentable, but I had no money. I bought so much stuff off Shein because I was like, okay, well, you know, nobody's going to be able to tell that it's not good. Like, it's not expensive, you know, it looks fine. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that my clothes from Shein did not look cheap. And then maybe like a month ago, I was like, you know what, I'm going to buy a bunch of stuff off Shein that's maternity. I haven't bought anything from Shein in the longest time, but we're trying to save money right now. And I decided, you know what, like, I just need a few things for the summer and it's going to be fine, right? Every single item, even though they look cute, like on camera, they feel so cheap and they look so cheap, like in person, and they're not comfortable. And I should have known better, but I promised myself, like, when I became like a real adult, and mind you, I'm 29, I told myself I was going to invest in good pieces of clothing that I could wear for a while that didn't look cheap, because I truly believe that if you're wearing cheap clothing, it's obvious. And that's fine. If that's what if you don't care, then keep wearing cheap clothing. If you can't afford anything else, understandable as well. But my intention was to wear cheap clothing and try to make it look like it was expensive. And I just gotta say, like, it didn't work. All right, let's move on, guys. This episode is going to be about lies. And I think we did an episode maybe like a year ago-ish about lies. And I don't remember what it's called, maybe Liar Liar. Honestly, sometimes I black out like after I record and I just completely forget what I even talked about. But I don't know why I was thinking about this, but I recently watched this show. Oh my God, you guys, I recently watched a show called The Hunting Wives. Oh my God. Oh my God. If you haven't seen that, and if you are watching it, like, you are in for a trip. Do not watch it with your parents. That's all I will say. Don't watch it with anyone except like your significant other or by yourself. And make sure that, you know, your curtains are closed so that people can't see inside of your house while you're watching it, because they're going to think you're watching softcore porn. But like, I don't know. I loved the show. It was trashy in all the right ways. It was campy in all the right ways. Brittany Snow was in it, and she's fantastic. What's her name? Malin something. Malin, I don't remember. But anyway, it's about these Texas women who adopt this woman from Boston into their group and basically like corrupt her, you know, in a way. Like, this main character corrupts this girl from Boston who's really already corrupted. But it just leads to lie after lie after lie after lie, and there's so much murder and mystery, and like, it's nuts, okay? It's actually nuts, but it was a great show, and I would rewatch it if I could. But I guess maybe that's kind of why I thought of the theme of lies and creating fake identities, because that's also in the show. So I found this thread on Reddit, and it's called "What Lie Have You Told for So Long That It Has Become a Part of Who You Are?" So these are all Reddit stories. This first one, oh, and the thread itself is 12 years old. 12 years old. All right, the first one. I have a scar on my upper lip and the side of my nose. I tell people it's from tripping and face planting in some gravel while walking home late at night. Okay, the gravel part is true, but what actually happened is I was tripping on acid, wandering around in the middle of the night, and began pounding on a neighbor's front door, thinking it was my house. The neighbors flipped and called the cops. The cops found me wandering around a short distance away. The cops got out of their patrol car and happened to stand directly under a streetlight. In my hallucinating state, I believed they were angels, so I approached them and tried to give one of them a hug. The cop took me to the ground hard as hell, ripping my face open. Cops will do that when you give them a bear hug. They propped me up against the side of the patrol car. I was bleeding all over the place. The ambulance took me to the hospital and they pumped me full of Thorazine, which I'm not sure what that is, and I woke up the next day in my bed at home. The cops were awesome about it. Really worried about me and almost apologetic for messing up my face. A couple days later, they called my mother and asked if I'd be willing to talk to them about where I got the acid. I said I didn't want to say, and they let the matter drop. No criminal charges were ever involved. I wrote them a thank you letter a couple of months later for not shooting me, and I don't blame them a single bit for what they did. They were amazingly restrained in how they handled it. Well, I feel like saying that you fell is a lot easier than going into an entire story about that. That's a lot. That is a lot. And you're really, really lucky that you didn't get in trouble, like, legally either. Now, I'm about to share a story with you guys that's going to give you some insight into why I am the way I am, who I am, and some of the things that I have done. This is not a safe for work story, okay? So if you're with children in the car, you might not want to listen. And if you know my parents, please do not share this story with them, as it would get me in a lot of trouble, even though I am a married mother of about to be 2. But this is a story about when I first tripped acid. Yes, you heard me correctly. I used to do drugs. I did. So when I was a high schooler, I had a boyfriend who was in college at the time, and his parents owned an orchard. And I was head over heels for this guy. Like, I would do anything to impress him. So he convinced me to hang out with 2 of his friends who at the time were dating. And I had always had like some sort of like animosity with this girl that was his best friend, because I was jealous of her. And clearly, like, the 2 of them were perfect for each other because they both liked the same things. They were both like the same type of personality. So I was very jealous of her and very insecure around her, because I thought at any moment, if she wanted to, she could steal my man. Her boyfriend happened to be a drug dealer, and he showed up with acid. And my boyfriend said, hey, let's all do this together. And I, being a 17-year-old who was easily manipulated and wanted to impress her new boyfriend, said, okay. So we went to the orchard and we got on top of his car, and we swallowed the tabs, and nothing really happened for like an hour, I want to say. Like, I didn't feel anything. I was feeling very nervous, full of anxiety. I was very scared, but I was trying to play it off that I was cool. So at the same time, I'm trying to like plug in like a stereo or something like that, and I couldn't find the hole to put it in. And I remember, like, as I was plugging it in to the stereo, they said like, oh, she found the hole. And at that point in time is when it hit me, when I started tripping, right? And everything looked as if it was in 3D. Like, you know when you put those glasses on and it's red and it's blue and everything kind of has like a red and blue shadow to it? That's what the world looked like to me. And it freaked me out, because they were like, oh, she found the hole, meaning I found the hole to the stereo, but I didn't know what hole they were talking about. And I was like, oh, does that mean I'm going to die now? Anyway, long story short, this trip went on for hours and hours and hours. And, you know, being in the orchard, you see all the trees and everything kind of like turning into the universe, and you feel connected with the world and blah, 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 blah. To my children, do not do this. Do not do this. Do not do this. And it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. It was scary. I wasn't having fun. I was trying as much as I could to manage my anxiety and enjoy myself, but honestly, I wasn't enjoying myself. So anyway, we get back to the house, to my boyfriend's house, and it's all four of us. And my boyfriend disappeared somewhere with the girl. And her boyfriend looks at me and he goes, oh, they're perfect for each other, aren't they? And I was like, huh? Basically, he had just confirmed my deepest, darkest fear, that this guy that I'm in love with is actually in love with his girl best friend. And he was like, yeah, the two of them belong with each other. Like, we don't even stand a chance. And that's when everything went downhill. And I can't tell you the specifics of the details because I truly don't remember them. But I do remember completely crashing out and like running away somewhere. And then I ended up finding my way inside the house into the bathroom. And I looked at myself in the mirror. And you should never, ever look at yourself in the mirror if you're tripping. That's like one of the main rules of tripping. Because my face did not look like my face. And it was very terrifying. Anyway, long story short, ended very badly. I was fine. Everybody was fine, like physically. But I think of that to this day. And then any time in the future that anyone tried to offer me acid, I said, okay, sure. And then like pretended to take it and didn't actually take it because I was so traumatized by the first time. And I will never do that again. I will not recommend it to people. And that's that. Please don't get me in trouble, okay? Cool. Next story. When I was like 15 years old, me and my friends got some cigars. This was my first cigar ever, and I suspect in hindsight, the first time for my friends. But we were all acting like we knew cigars, rating the cigar we were smoking, etc. I decided to one-up everyone by saying that it was an okay cigar, but not as good as a Cuban that I had smoked. My friends jumped on me and pointed out that Cuban cigars were illegal, and you can't get them here. News to me at the time. I quickly covered up and said that my uncle had brought them over from Cuba to a family gathering, and he had let me have one at 15 years old. To this day, I am now 31. Anytime cigars come up, one of my friends will say, Jean, you've had a Cuban cigar, right? And I have to go, yep, and then brace for some line of questioning as to how they differ from the cigars that we get here. And I make up some shit like, well, it's just the way that they're wrapped. That completely worthless lie is 10 years old. You know what you should have done now that you're old enough is go and buy a Cuban cigar, because you can get them literally from anywhere. I feel like you can get them at like, I don't know, Canada? Can't you get them in Canada? I don't know. Anyway, you should have found in this 15 years an actual Cuban cigar, and a quick Google search will literally teach you why Cuban cigars are better or different. So you could actually stick to your lie and sound like you know what you're talking about. That's what I would do. You got to stick to the brief, my guy. But I will tell you another story. Man, I'm going to get in so much trouble with this one. Another story about the first time I ever smoked a cigarette. And again, please don't get me in trouble. When I was 16, maybe 15, I don't know. I had smoked cigarettes like once or twice in Greece, because when you go over to Greece, like everyone is smoking cigarettes, and of course the peer pressure is there. But that's the first time I think I ever tried a cigarette was in Greece, but I didn't really count it because like it was like a puff of somebody's like hand rolled cigarette. So I didn't really count it, right? I didn't know anything about cigarettes. I just knew that my like friend group at the time thought that smoking cigarettes was cool. So I had told everybody that I had smoked cigarettes in Greece and like I knew what kind was the best and blah, blah, blah. I knew nothing. So one day I had a friend whose boyfriend worked at a gas station where, of course, they sold cigarettes. And he told us that if we stopped in, he would sell us a pack without having to show the ID, right? So we go in and I'm like, yeah, I want to get a pack of cigarettes. And he's like, okay, well, which one? And I was like, oh, like whatever kind, like a women smoke. Like I'm not used to these American cigarettes. Like I only smoke Greek cigarettes. So I'm not sure what type women smoke here. And this guy had it out for me. He did not like me. And he sold me a pack of Virginia Slims. And if you don't know what Virginia Slims are, they are the cigarette that every old woman smokes. Not young people, old women, okay? So he sold me a pack of Virginia Slims, and my friend and I get to the park, and I open up this pack of cigarettes, and like I act like I know what I'm doing, and I take one drag, and I just start coughing. And I'm like, oh, that's just because I haven't smoked in a little while. Like, that's normal. And then she did it too, and it was just so funny. Like, we had no idea what we were doing, and we looked really dumb. And yeah, that guy thought it was the funniest joke that he had with my friend at the time. Like, the inside joke that they had together, that they sold me Virginia Slims, and I acted like I knew everything. So, yeah. Oh my gosh, there's a moth. There's a moth in here. Okay. I'm really exposing myself this episode. Like, I don't know. I'm not this like sweet little innocent person. I am now, I would say. But I've been through some things. I've seen some things, I've done some things, and I don't like to talk about them because I don't want people judging me. But at the same time, like, I'm going to tell my kids this stuff, like, one day. I'm not gonna hide any of these things from them because I do want them to be able to talk to me when they make mistakes, and I want them to feel like I'm not perfect. I want them to know I'm not perfect, and I want them to feel comfortable telling me when they're in trouble and come to me for advice and for help, because I was always very afraid to do that with my parents growing up, because I thought that they were perfect, and I didn't want to like shatter their reality thinking that I am not perfect. So I would just lie, and I just wouldn't tell them anything. And I would get myself into so much trouble and not go to them for help because I was really, really worried that they would just be so much more disappointed in me than they already were. So, all right. I really hate peanut butter, and I got tired of people telling me to just give it a chance. So I started saying I was allergic to it. Now it's on all of my medical papers, and even my parents think that it's true. You know what? This isn't a big deal as long as you don't like peanut butter, because some people are like addicted to peanut butter. And if you had to give up something that you absolutely, oh, well, she said, or they, I really hate peanut butter. But I saw another story where somebody was like, oh yeah, I lied about being lactose intolerant because someone made a cake at work and I knew that they were gross and I didn't want to eat anything that they made. But then they had to stick to the lie that they were lactose intolerant for years. I couldn't do that. But I did the same thing with cinnamon, which I think you can't even be allergic to. And all of my friends have called me out because I've told them, like, yeah, I'm actually not allergic to cinnamon. I just got tired of people offering me stuff with cinnamon in it all the time. So I'm just like, no, I'm allergic. But you know where this also comes in handy too, is if you are trying to order something through like DoorDash or like over the phone and you really, really, really don't want them to mess up your order, you just say, oh, I'm allergic to blue cheese, so I can only eat ranch. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna give you blue cheese. The top comment on this one is, I spent my entire childhood under the belief that I was allergic to chocolate. It all stemmed from the fact that I ate some chocolate birthday cake when I was 3 and threw up all over the place. Then one day I was at my aunt's house and she had an entire chocolate egg crushed into pieces on her end table. When they left the room, I ate the whole damn thing and I discovered I actually wasn't allergic. Honestly surprised that that revelation didn't turn me into a supervillain. Oh, I don't think I could live if I was allergic to chocolate, honestly. All right, this last one. When I read this, my jaw was just like on the floor because this one's wild. And yeah, it's a doozy, but I have a story to follow this one as well. That's not about me. But okay, my wife thinks that we met on the internet. We didn't. We actually met on a bus almost a full year before we met for the first time. I was utterly captivated by the way she looked, the way she dressed, and oh God, how lucky I felt when she sat down beside me. I deliberately missed my stop just to stay next to her for an extra 30 minutes. And then I got off where she did and immediately stopped pretending to make a phone call as she walked off. I waited until she was too far away to hear me, and seeing that she hadn't looked back at any point, I found the courage to follow her home. With her address at hand, I returned to my own home to try and find the name. I didn't have any luck trawling public records, so in desperation, I had my MySpace bring up the profile of every female user in the area. I scrolled through page after page of profile pic thumbnails, but I recognized her instantly. What followed was 9 months of trying to contact her. I didn't rate my chances highly, so I decided to contact her first on some fake profiles to give myself a safe sandbox to get to know her without any risk of my mistakes damaging my chances with her when I felt that I knew enough about her to contact her from a genuine profile. It was tough at first. The first 2 accounts didn't even get responses out of her, so I started looking at the profile of her existing friends and mimicked those, copying their interests and music tastes. I started chatting to her, first from one identity, then from another. At one point, I was talking to her under 3 different names at once, each with a different personality, as I tried to figure out who her perfect guy was. Eventually, when I was ready, I friended one of my fake profiles with my real one, and then had the fake me invite the real me into a group chat with her. We connected instantly. It was magical. I could always say exactly what she wanted to hear. My sense of humor was perfect. My politics and world view mirrored her own. We loved the same music. We had so much in common. It took me just 1 more month to finally meet her in person for the first time. I was absolutely paranoid that she would recognize me as the guy on the bus that one time, but she didn't. 2 years later, I married her, despite our relationship being founded on my lies. Whenever I think about it, I feel like a scumbag, a creep, a stalker, some kind of criminal. But when I look at her and she's here, happy with me still, it's me that suffers with the truth, not her. So what if I'm going to spend the rest of my life pretending that I like Beatles and thinking fur coats are evil? Yo, you need help. This is so not okay. This is so not okay. I thought at first, like, okay, you see a girl on the bus, you think she's beautiful, so you want to find out more about her. But then he started following her home, and then he looked up all the profiles in the area, and then all of a sudden he's made 6 profiles, and now he's talking to her and like getting to know her from all these people. Oh my God. Like, what is wrong with you? You should feel like a scumbag, because this is really freaky. And if she were to ever find out about this, like, you're cooked, dude. This is weird. This is so unacceptable. And you wonder why women have hard times trusting men. This is foul. And this was 12 years ago. I don't see a single update on here. But I just want to know, like, how is this sociopath doing? Because I want to know how his marriage is surviving. Because here's the thing. You're not a real person. The man that she married doesn't actually exist. The man she married is compiled of all the things that she actually likes. You have no personality. Every single thing that you have made up is literally just to please her. How do you live like that? Like, okay, great. You have a wife that you love who's absolutely fantastic. Where are your, like, real personality traits? Where are your interests? This is freaky. This is weird. Very, very, very weird. Okay. I just want to say that this happened to one of my friends. She had been dating a guy for a little while, and it wasn't really working out, so she cut things off. And she just kind of thought he was a little too into her. Like, he would show up at her work and bring flowers. The second time they hung out, I think he wrote her a song and like put a picture of her and him like in a frame. Like, he was very, very into her. And like, I don't remember all the details because this happened like maybe a year or two ago, but oh my God. So eventually she like starts kind of like suspecting that somebody was in her apartment because things have been moved around and her Wi-Fi had gotten hacked into, and she's like missing things. And then she goes on vacation to Florida, and when she comes back, like, nothing is right in her house. And she finds out that there are hidden cameras in her apartment. And then the guy literally got caught on camera in her apartment complex putting a tracker underneath her car. So long story short, the guy's in jail now, but she had found out that he had made multiple fake profiles in order to try to meet her many times before they actually hung out with each other, because she, I guess, wasn't interested, but he would like follow her places before they even met, before they officially met. Before she even knew who he was, he would follow her places. He would go to the grocery store when she was grocery shopping. I don't remember where else, but like, he would show up places and watch her. What the hell? What? And apparently he did this to another girl who ended up looking exactly like identical to my friend. Identical. It was freaky. So yeah, he's in jail and she's safe. She has moved. He doesn't know where. But man, if I ever meet this guy, it's clobbering time, as the thing would say. Okay, guys, this was lovely. Thank you for joining me for a chat. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I did too. I always feel so good after we talk because I do genuinely like need to be more engaging. I know I do. I need to be more engaging on my Instagram and like everything. It's just a hard time for me right now. So I really appreciate everybody giving me the grace to, like, you know, have my bad days and not be as like active on social media. I'm trying really hard. But I am most active on my TikTok. So if you want to follow me on TikTok, it's Elle. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on this episode. And no matter what you do, don't stop complaining. Bye.